This is just one example of a home that was hit by the flood that took out parts of the city here in Burlington on Monday night. Environment Canada reported nearly 2 months worth of rain had dumped on the city, taking out basements, garages, streets, and even highways.
The city has been assessing the damage across the city and will report back. The focus initially has been on some roads. There's certainly an issue on Guelph Line north of Dundas, and an issue on Cedar Springs north of Dundas as well. The issue on Guelph Line will take maybe a week to fix. We understand, but that's preliminary at this stage. We're also looking at the damage around our creeks. Obviously, our creeks are a big tool as far as dealing with stormwater management. So our Capital Works Department is out looking at all the creeks, as well as our Roads and Parks Maintenance Department is looking at the parks within the city, not just the roads.
If you take a drive in Burlington, you'll see water being pumped out of basements, mud covering the streets, people shoveling the crud off their driveways, and even dumpsters now replace vehicles in driveways. Hundreds of people have been affected by this storm.
I can tell you this, that last night at 311, which is the Halton Emergency Call Center, there were over 2,200 calls last night. They weren't all basements. A lot of them was because of the roads and the fact that some roads were impassable last night. But we understand that from Halton 311, about 230 to 240 homeowners called about specifically basement flooding. And I would suggest that's only a percentage of the basements that have been flooded in the city. I don't think I'd be out of line if I said there was well over 500 basements that were flooded across the city last night.
Well, as you can see right here, the water is still continuing to drain out of the homes here in Burlington. Now I'm just off of New Street on Elwood Drive, and this area certainly saw a significant amount of damage. Right behind me, this house here completely flooded all the way up to the top of the ceilings in their basements. Absolute devastation in this area. Now residents, they're pulling together. It's amazing to see everyone is hand in hand and working at developing a strategic plan, hitting each home one by one. As you can see behind me now, this house is luckily starting to drain, and it's only a matter of time as well. We've seen some of the Halton Regional trucks coming through, but it's going to take some time before we see this damage get cleaned up.
But right here, it was all water from here down, and the water pressure was so hard, it actually turned the lights on, and the lights started flickering and stuff because it was near water.
Well, I was walking around filming with my iPhone, and as I came back to the house, I could see one of the window wells broken, the water pouring in. By the time I got to the top of the stairs, the water was up above the top of the rafters here, so nothing you can do. It was already flooded before I even got here. It was flooded.
Started out really small, and then started to get concerned when a little bit of water started coming in the basement, and then after that it would just come in like a tidal wave.
So many still in shock after the devastation. But the city of Burlington and the region have been working closely to help those affected. And a simple phone call is all you need as your first step.
If they call 311, what we will do is send someone out. Last night we were securing our water plants and our wastewater plants. Today every available person is going out. We have about 230 calls with people that have basements flooded. What they will do, or what we will do, is send somebody out. There could be two things. It could be water coming from the sewers and wastewater, or it could be the storm water. And if it's the storm water, the city will deal with it, the city of Burlington. If it's wastewater, we actually have a package there. We will give it to the people, explain what to do, and they will obviously help them through that situation. So if they have any basement flooding, call 311. We will have the experts to come out, because sometimes you won't know if the water could even be brown, but it could just be the storm water. So you really need an expert to take a look at it. The folks at the region can do that and be able to assess it, and then let them know what the next step is.
Conservation Halton is also asking all area residents and children to stay away from water courses and structures such as bridges, culverts, and dams. Elevated water levels, fast-flowing water, and slippery conditions along streams and banks continue to make these locations extremely dangerous. For more information, you can visit their website at www.conservationhalton.ca to see which areas are still flooded as well. Be sure to contact the city if you have been affected at 311. For Halton Insider, I'm Kristen Demeny.